After the fight between Kamaru Usman and Hamza Chimaev, I seen Kamaru Usman like waiting in the background. I was starting to think that he was going to retire, but it doesn't appear that is the case because afterwards he had a interview. I think it was with BT Sport. I could be wrong, but it does seem like he is going to keep fighting, and he wants to stay at middleweight moving forward. I do like that for Kamaru Usman. A lot more fresh matchups. You know, him at welterweight is a bit stagnant. He's fought everybody. I'd rather see Kamaru Usman for the rest of his career just fight fresh matchups if possible. And he actually spoke about a matchup he would like to have at UFC 300, and he called for the African, his fellow African fighter. He called for Dricus Du Plessis at UFC 300. I like that fight, to be honest. I actually do like that fight. Obviously, like I've mentioned it many times, and I will mention it every time. Dricus Du Plessis does deserve the title fight against Sean Strickland. Like he just does on merit. He's done everything you need to do to achieve that title shot. But like I say, the UFC fucking hate him. They just hate Dricus. And yeah, I wouldn't mind that fight to be honest. You know, there's a storyline there. You know, Dricus. You know, if we can't get the real African between Dricus Du Plessis, between Dricus Du Plessis and Israel Adesanya, then yeah, this is the next best thing. I think it would be a hype fight in my opinion. I'd love that fight between them. The build up would be cool. I love when Kamaru Usman does that thing where he walks over to his opponent, gets in their face before the fight. Like that always is hype. And you know, I don't think these two would like each other, so that would make it very interesting as well. So yeah, I wouldn't mind this fight. How would I have this fight going though? Like, all right, so Kamaru Usman actually looked really good against Hamzat Chimaev. You know, he arguably won 2 rounds, but still, the best he could have gotten this fight was a draw. I don't think there's any way you can argue that Kamaru Usman won this fight. I think the first round is like a clear 10-8. I know damage is the number one scoring criteria, but Hamzat Chimaev used effective grappling and he landed a lot more strikes on the ground. Obviously, he wasn't like fucking about to knock out Kamaru Usman or anything, but he really did just destroy him in that first round. So I do think that was a 10-8 because Kamaru Usman didn't offer any offense. I think he landed 2 strikes in that first round. Maybe that was just maybe the stats were wrong, but it was something like really crazy like that. Like the significant strike difference was huge in that first round, and Hamzat's also going for chokes, going for submissions. So I think that was a 10-8 in that first round. I think that's pretty undoubtable. But the second round, Kamaru Usman, I think that's a clear Kamaru Usman round. And then the third, it's a toss-up round in my opinion. You can give it to Kamaru Usman. He did land some big shots on the feet. Hamza Chimaev did get him on the ground, landed some pitter-patter shots. So I don't know. It's really how you want to score the fight. Like what you thought was more effective in that third round. But either way, I think Kamaru Usman actually looked really good in that fight. And why I mention this is because I don't know if I think Kamaru Usman's washed or anything, but I think Dricus Du Plessis would beat him. I know that is crazy, but like Dricus Du Plessis is fucking light heavyweight sized at middleweight. He's a big guy, he's powerful, he's strong, he's got plot armor. You know, there's just something about Dricus Du Plessis. This man just always finds a way to win. I think he would I think he would catch Kamaru Usman to be honest. Like Kamaru Usman, the one like big shot that Hamza landed on me. He landed like a jab or something. It seemed like it did wobble Usman a bit, but I don't know. Hamza apparently broke his hand or his wrist or something, so he didn't really go in too crazy after that. But it did seem like he sort of rocked Kamaru Usman there. So I feel like if Dricus Du Plessis landing, he could he could probably catch him to be honest. I think he could catch Kamaru Usman. I just think stylistically he is a bad matchup. He's big. He's got same reach as him as well. You know, he's got long arms, Dricus Du Plessis. I think he could just land at will on Kamaru Usman. You know, Usman's good, obviously, second greatest welterweight of all time, but I just I just think he would get him, man. Uh, he could stuff the takedowns if like I don't know. I feel like he would do really good. Like Dricus Du Plessis, I'm starting to realize. Like obviously I realized this, but like when he beat Robert Whittaker, but Dricus Du Plessis is like generally very good. I know Kamaru Usman is a welterweight. Welterweights are normally very much more skilled, but I just think the power difference would be so much. Like Dricus Du Plessis, powerful, big guy, strong guy, durable guy. Yeah, like, it would be a fun fight though. I would love to see this fight. It'd be, um, I don't know. We can't really tell too much about Kamaru Usman at middleweight because he did fight Hamzat Chimaev, who is a former welterweight too. But we did see him get taken down. I don't think Dricus Du Plessis would come out with like a wrestling heavy game plan. I think he would strike. And with his his unorthodox striking, I could just see him catching Kamaru Usman. And like, I don't think Kamaru Usman has the best chin. I'll still stand by that. And it's not just because Leon Edwards like chinned him with a head kick. Most people aren't going to take a fucking flush head kick. I understand that, but we've seen Colby Covington rock him with strikes. Like we've seen, like, obviously we've seen Leon stumble him a few times in that last fight. Who else had him? Gilbert Burns dropped him in in the first round. Like, we have seen Kamaru Usman get hurt so much, like, and he's older now as well. He's 36. 7-year age difference between these two. Dricus Du Plessis, he's a young guy, man. Dricus is so much younger than people realize. Like, such a big age gap between them. And there's that stat where, like, isn't it like 60% of guys like 6 years or younger are like 60% against the opponents? Like, he's so much younger than Usman. He's in the prime of his career. He's in much better shape at this point. I'm not saying Usman's out of shape. Don't get me wrong. Fucking, he's a very in shape man. But I just mean, like, athletically, his prime's coming to an end. He's not as fast or anything. But it'd be a good fight. Like, if they're not going to get Dricus the next title shot, which maybe they will. Hamza Chimaev's hand was a bit busted up, but I doubt. I don't know. I think the UFC really want to just try get Hamza the championship because he's like a big name star. But yeah, we'll see with that. But yeah, I think this fight's like the next best thing. I was thinking maybe you do Jared Cannonier versus the winner of. The winner of Jared Cannonier versus Roman Dolidze, but I wouldn't mind this fight. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Dricus getting the opportunity against Usman, or Usman the opportunity against him, I should say. I just think the fight makes a lot of sense. Obviously, I guess technically it's like a step up for Usman after fighting unranked middleweight Hamzat Chimaev, but obviously still number one welterweight. And if he wants to fight at middleweight, fucking let him. The guy cuts quite a bit of weight to make welterweight. If he wants to be a bit healthier, have a less miserable weight cut, especially at this stage in his career, just let him fight at middleweight. If they don't do Dricus Du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman, I would love, and because this guy, he likes fresh matchups. There's not really many fresh matchups available for him right now. I would love to see Robert Whittaker versus Kamaru Usman. I think that fight would be cool, both on losses, both in interesting parts of their career. I wouldn't mind that fight, honestly. I think that fight would be really cool to see. It's a fight that could have been a champ fight at one point. But yeah, I'd really love to see Robert Whittaker versus Kamaru Usman, especially if Kamaru Usman does that fucking, that thing where he gets in his opponent's face. Like, I'd love to see how Robert Whittaker would react to that. But yeah, he wants Dricus Du Plessis. I don't know if Kamaru Usman gets Dricus Du Plessis. I'm sure the UFC would be up for that. They don't seem to like fucking Dricus or respect him. If you went in there, chinned fucking Kamaru Usman, that'd be undoubtable for a title shot, especially since, you're giving Hamzat Chimaev a title shot off beating Kamaru Usman. But yeah, I can't talk in detail how much I love Kamaru Usman at middleweight. Just I'm just glad we can get him some fresh matchups. Maybe if he is going to fight at welterweight, just let him fight Bilal or something. But yeah, I do like Kamaru Usman at this weight class. So many more fresh matchups for him. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. I like him at this weight class. He didn't get the win today, but it was a very close fight. And to have a close fight with Chimaev like that, first round not close at all, complete domination from Hamza Chimaev. I understand that, but to sort of come back in the second and third is pretty good. A 5 rounder, I think Usman would probably win that. Who knows? Maybe Hamza would eventually catch him or something in like a fourth or fifth round unexpectedly. You never know, but still, the fact he made that fight with Kamaru Usman so competitive. I mean, that fight with Hamzat Chimaev, sorry, so competitive was, yeah, just really good sign from Kamaru Usman. I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. So yeah, I'd like to see some more middleweight matchups. Maybe you give him a winnable fight before you give him like a Whitaker or a a Whitaker or a Dricus Du Plessis. Maybe you could do Usman versus like a Jack Hermanson or something like that. Maybe that's just a step too far. But Usman can stay a lot more active at middleweight, build up a little bit of a resume. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. Like I say, really like this move up. I like welterweights always do so well moving up to middleweight. So Kamaru Usman can probably have a lot of success against like other middleweights. But that's all I've got to say about that. So yeah, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you give it a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you're not already, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.